The Interpretation of Dreams, Dream Psychology, written by Sigmund Freud, project by Jenna Preston. This is the introduction to the interpretation of dreams, published in 1899. Freud developed his theory of the unconscious by focusing on dream interpretation. His views and theories stirred controversy during his own lifetime and continue to evoke considerable debate in the psychological world, additionally with readers who have interest in this topic. Nevertheless, his attribution in creating the discipline of psychoanalysts and shaping our worldview today are undeniable. He has fairly received the title of Father of Psychoanalysts and is rightfully considered one of the greatest and most influential thinkers of the 20th century and modern history in general. Freud's views and commentary. Freud places a historical context of dreams, where he lists some basic and fundamental information about the way that dreams are viewed and interpreted in the history of mankind. For instance, in the period described as pre-scientific, dreams were seen as favorable or hostile manifestations by high powers. In later years, as science and research advanced and progressed, we moved on. In a way, mythology evolved into psychology, and humans progressed from God and religion to studies, experiments, and science. Dreams are now seen as a product of the dreamer's own mind. What is still prominent as an unanswered question is the need of explaining the significance of dreams. Freud sees two secondary questions being raised from the issue above. These two are the biological function of dreams and how they are interpreted. The second question concerning the meaning aspect of dreams. Someone could easily also ask, why do we need to discover the meaning or even the significance of dreams? But if we take under consideration the fact that we are asleep for 1/3 of our lives, and dreams are something that occur every time we sleep, and sometimes just not once each time, then the answer to that question is definitely something worth finding. Furthermore, Freud continues by dividing dreams into 3 categories: dreams which make sense, that are intelligible, dreams which have a clear sense but a bewildering effect, and dreams which are without sense or intelligibility, which seem almost disconnected or meaningless. There's not much to say about the first category, as it is pretty clear that it concerns the type of dreams that we all experience and continue to experience on a daily basis. They can be described as mundane. What is pictured in those types of dreams are mostly our friends, family, most common environment, an event that surprised us in a certain way, or a worry that we might have. Either way, their content is realistic and easy to understand. On the other hand, the next 2 categories are significantly interesting. Beginning with the second category, Freud makes mention of one that concerns dreams that somehow make sense but still manage to confuse us. We simply cannot seem to make sense of how we are able to get a hold of such an idea. Dreams like this do not appear to have a place in our mental life, or so we think, because as Freud would surely agree, this question is a subject of the conscious. So given the fact that we don't know and cannot know what our consciousness looks like, it's no surprise dreaming about stuff that categorizes as bizarre. That is the conscious censoring the unconsciousness. The third and final category of dreams is the one that makes the least sense and is therefore the most fascinating in the psychoanalytic sense. They make the least sense, as it was previously stated, and they give their impression of being disconnected and meaningless. They are also the reason behind medical researches and theories that dreams are the outcome of a restricted mental activity. In my opinion, exactly because they seem to be so meaningless and without purpose, that is one more reason to look deeper into them and possibly find even more meaning than initially thought. Freud agrees with this outlook. As a further matter, he states that most of the dreams of adults are traced back to erotic wishes. Specifically, a detail that also must be outlined is that even when we have innocent and non-sexual dreams, there are still erotic wishes underlying in their content. Now, Freud's belief about the origin of some dreams can surely create a long dialogue, and people can have a lot to say about his views on this topic. His obsession with sex and death particularly are well known because of his other works, and he believes that they are the 2 basic forces that drive humans. But focusing on the importance of one, he has made controversial statements about it, and he thinks that they are both linked to childhood. A simple object such as a chair can represent both a happy childhood for an individual or an awful memory for another. This might consist of the loss and mourning of a loved one or death. It can all depend on the context of the dream and the information that they are willing to share, which brings me to my next point. A truly worth mentioning aspect of Freud's psychoanalysis is the notion of censorship. It can be described as the process that the patient subjects itself, that only allows what is agreeable and what is thought to be irrelevant or even wrong. At the same time, it means that what is rejected or left behind by the censorship is the state of repression. Additionally, the patient, without understanding this, interferes with the smooth process of the psychoanalyst and even goes as far as giving incorrect information. However, as Freud marks, under certain conditions of which the state of sleep is one, the relation of the two agencies, conscious and unconscious, is modified in such a way that what is repressed can no longer be held back. The end result is in some way a new form of consciousness, which includes aspects for the so long hidden conscious. This breakthrough leads us to the relaxation of censorship, which is exactly what Freud wanted people to achieve. When the state of sleep is over, the censorship quickly recovers and regains grounds. Near the end of the book, there is concern in the sense of questioning who we really are. Are we the conscious part, which we have an understanding of, or are we in the mysterious unconsciousness that only has power in the dream state and sporadically? Or is it even possible that we are a mixture of both? All these questions that we might have might never be answered or have secure answers to. Nonetheless, it's still worth highlighting. All in all, Freud managed to do something that is still considered a hard task. He stayed true to himself, his work, and his views, no matter how they were perceived or the level of controversy they caused. By studying the works of other psychologists and theorists such as Aristotle, Hildebrand, and Strobel, Freud was able to determine which ideas he agreed and disagreed with. With their influence, he was able to conduct a successful study despite the constant criticism received from others, and his theories on the nature and function of dreams are still studied today. His psychoanalytic interpretation of dreams in this book is considered one of the best of its kind, and no other has gained the same reputation or academic recognition as Freud, despite his unconventional style and thoughts.